Of course they end up being brothers in the end. This is Boss Baby. Spoilers.
This is Spoilers.
Hi, welcome to Spoilers. Yes, that murmur you heard was the murmur of the Boss Baby. That's been going around our Twitter feed and group thread for about 4 months now. With me today, let the guys introduce themselves, starting with Josh.
Oh man, was not ready for being first. Hey, I'm Josh, recording from Elkhart. Mikey and I saw this together last night, and we're the only two adult males there together, so we have that distinction going for us.
And I'm Mikey. Yeah, just a couple of dudes watching Boss Baby together.
That old cliche.
Yeah. It was packed, man. There was a lot of people there.
It was.
Josh and I almost had to sit right next to each other. It was so packed.
Yeah, we left that seat in between us as a courtesy to ourselves, but man, it was tight. There was some times I got nervous that I was going to go away.
You did the buffer seat?
Yeah, there was people shuffling in and out the whole movie. There's a lot of people.
You fellas sound super insecure, but you do bring up a good point that this was the number one movie in America this weekend, dethroning Beauty and the Beast. That's crazy. Jordan, what was your theater like?
This is Jordan recording from Greensboro, North Carolina. My theater was also packed. I think it was... I wanted to say sold out, but I do remember seeing like 2 empty seats, so like real close. But yeah, I was also, I think, the only adult male there without a child in tow. So definitely felt a little insecure, but I mean, I haven't seen Beauty and the Beast, but a deserved, I would say, box office takeover. I like this movie.
Well, this is Pappy recording from Denver, Colorado. I guess I'm probably the reason that we're seeing this because I've retweeted every Boss Baby thing I've seen from @spoilers_pod for about the last 4 months. And it started from seeing the trailer, which I thought looked like it made it look like one of the worst movies ever. But Jordan, you said you liked it. Mikey and Josh, what do you guys think? Initial thoughts.
I started getting really nervous about the movie during the previews. Mikey and I kind of kept looking at each other, like rolling our eyes, like, what the hell did we get ourselves into? Like, this is a movie for babies, about a baby. Like, what the fuck am I doing in the theater?
What trailers did you remember in the trailers that you saw?
Oh, none of them were like, wow, I got to see that. That'll be like Zootopia or something. It was all like very baby type humor. It was like so bad. I can't remember the names of any of it. It was terrible.
It all kind of blurred together in one bad joke cartoon sort of thing.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't remember the names of any of those movies, but they all looked super childish, and I was like, shit.
I had Captain Underpants, which was...
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Diaries of a Wimpy Kid kind of back-to-back there. Like,
yeah, that one looked pretty bad, too.
It's like a second grade English teacher got control of a movie studio. And then I also had Lego something. What's it called? Johnny?
Ninjato.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys say? Have you guys seen the trailers for that? What do you think about that one?
The Lego movie looks pretty good, but I like all those movies anyways.
I'm not sure about the Lego movie. I really didn't like the Batman one.
What?
I would just found myself being really bored, but that was like the first Lego movie I really watched, though, so I don't know, that's maybe not my thing.
Yeah, I mean, the marketing for Boss Baby and Lego movies is kind of like just lumped in there with all the kids' cartoon movies and I guess second grade graphic novel crossovers.
Well, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, the marketing for this movie was terrible, and for me going in the movie theater, the bar was lower than that goddamn doggy door that Alec Baldwin's character crawls through. I wrote that one down ahead of time. But Josh, sorry, what did you think of the movie?
Well, I can always tell when you write your jokes ahead of time.
Because I'm reading them out loud and it's painful.
I'm glad you got a chance to slip that in. My bar was pretty low once the movie started, and honestly, I felt myself being pretty cynical and jaded throughout. it did have a couple emotional tugging points. I thought the animation was really done well, and it really, I don't know, you could really see emotion in characters that I feel like a lot of animations miss. Did you notice that?
It's really expressive. Like, they're huge freaking eyes and stuff. I thought that was really good, too.
They have gigantic eyeballs.
Well, it's a DreamWorks animation, and just like clicking through the art department on IMDb, all of these people have like cross-pollinated other DreamWorks movies, so it's definitely a distinctive style. Mikey, what did you think about the movie?
Yeah, I had like the same kind of reservations going into it, but I agree with the animation is pretty great, especially when they're like when the older brother is imagining stuff.
Oh, that was my favorite part.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I wasn't expecting anything like that, and it surprised me.
Yeah. So
One thing about this. One thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was I kind of mentioned this to Mikey in the car on the way home, but did you notice all of the? I thought this had a lot of movie references within it. One of the ones that kind of sticks with me, and it's really quick, is when they're in a bounce house and they escape out the back, and it's like an animal kind of pooping them out, much in the way in Ace Ventura when he comes out the back of the rhino. I thought it was like a directly shout out to that. And there are a couple other things too. Did you guys notice any?
Well, definitely cookies are for closers is a reference to Glengarry Glen Ross. Coffee is for closers.
Mm-hmm. I thought and the reason I thought of saying this now was you're talking about the dream sequences. I think that was a lot of Peter Pan, and they even had like pirates and pirate ships thrown in there. I thought there were some Looney Tunes references I noticed. There's more. I can't remember them all right now, but I thought that was one of the coolest, most enjoyable parts of the movie.
Jordan, any other thoughts on the animation style of The Boss Baby?
As far as animation style, I was going to say something similar to Mikey. I think there were a few parts during the movie where I kind of felt like it was getting too bogged down in kind of the plot line, and they would always switch it up really quick with one of the imagination sequences and like kind of change up the pace a little bit. And so I thought that was a cool way of kind of getting through the story without just having them like break through doors and doggy doors and stuff the entire time. It was a little bit more exciting, but yeah.
Well, to pivot a little bit off the animation, when I was looking up this movie later, I was stunned by the cast of this movie. So quickly, you have Alec Baldwin, of course, as the Boss Baby in that title role. Steve Buscemi as Francis, who plays the main antagonist. So I guess maybe to explain what his role is, we should talk about what the plot is of this movie. Does anyone feel equipped to decompress what?
Oh my god, this is like the most confusing part of the whole. This was a complex movie. I didn't really understand it, to be honest.
Yeah, Mikey and I had this debate on the way home, and I guess just to kind of spoil this up front, I think that the entire movie is imagination from the older boy, and the baby was never in actuality delivered to their house 2 times. And yeah, what do you guys think about that? It's kind of left ambiguous, but that's my response.
I would agree because one of the opening shots you get is the older brother Tim, and he's doing an imagination. That's what pulls you into the story. So from Jump Street, they're saying that part of what you're seeing is imaginary. And of course, like the narrator, who is played by Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, says multiple times, well, that's how I remembered it. So it definitely gets that vibe. But I think if you were a kid, you would probably like this movie's target audience isn't old enough, mature enough to pick up on that nuance.
Yeah. Agreed, and that reminds me of another movie reference. I think we got some E.T. when they're kind of cleansing the house, and I think we got a little bit of Men in Black when they're using the little wands to erase memories.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'll stop bringing up movie references, but that really struck me.
No, and then we also had, just to round out the cast here, 2 TV stars also in the cast playing the parents, Jimmy Kimmel as the dad, and Lisa Kudrow from Friends as
Phoebe.
the mom. I guess as far from an acting perspective, what did you guys take away from this movie?
It was. I thought the voice acting was really good. What is it about Alec Baldwin's voice that just like makes people laugh? Is it just like his timing and stuff? But I think he's pretty funny in everything I've seen him in, at least recently, or the roles when he's supposed to be funny. And I don't exactly know like what is it about the quality of his voice that I don't know. People just laugh.
And he always plays that same kind of character.
So
he even does in this one. He plays himself, but he's a baby. But it's still, they make it work.
He's playing Jack Donaghy, the baby.
Exactly. From 30
That's why I like this movie.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest. I don't have anything else written down about the Boss Baby. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to bring up?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the parents and the acting. Did you guys think that the parents were kind of bad parents?
Well,
What, leaving their 2 young children with this big grok of a nanny?
They've had some obvious mistakes.
they also sort of like let their children run wild in a bounce house too, earlier in the movie. So it's just like a baby and like a 5-year-old taking care of a baby while they go off to work.
Yeah. Who lets a 5-year-old take care of a newborn baby?
Bad parents.
Bad parents.
But also, I mean, I don't know how deep we want to go into the Boss Baby, but that could have also been part of the kids' just perception of the unfairness of the situation. You know what I mean? Like, imagined.
That's true. They also seem to be passed out in a drug-induced coma on the couch multiple times throughout the movie with a bunch of munchies lying around.
Okay, that brings up a good question, too. When was the setting of this movie? I have zero idea because there's tape players, but there's also like technology. Like when did this take place?
I hadn't even thought about that, man.
I mean, I didn't see anything to dissuade me from saying that it's modern day.
As in the baby Tim was a baby in modern day time, or the Boss Baby? And then like
I guess you're right
because
the last scene is, you know, the narrator with the daughter, kind of like How I Met Your Mother style.
Right.
And yeah, it is unclear.
Well, I was trying to like pick up on clues too, and like the styles are pretty generic, but there's also like a big plot point where at one point Tim records the Boss Baby talking on a tape player, and that gets run over by a car. So that made me think maybe it was like 90s or something, but I don't know.
I just thought that was kind of a kid's toy. I didn't take that as like a scene setting. I don't know, Mikey. What decade is this in?
That's hard to tell. I would just assume it's like 90s or something like that.
I guess we need Stevie. He's our really devout.
I was going to say, if we ask Stevie, it's going to be an 80s film. Clearly mid-80s.
Yep, this and the Pulp Fiction, both 80s films.
Josh, a question for you, too. For me, I hate when I say that. Some of the humor is kind of like, I don't know, crude for like a baby movie. Like, I think there's like a lots of poop jokes and that kind of stuff. Like, what do you think as a parent as far as the appropriateness level?
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with it at all. I feel like I'm more on the liberal side of that. I think you bring up an interesting thing. Being a parent might give me a little bit of a different perspective as far as, you know, I have 2 kids, and there's that older kid feeling like that jealousy from the younger kid. And Blackbird, let's face it, Pap, that's a beautifully arranged song. I think we could both agree. And that's kind of a song that my daughter likes too. So that, like, anytime they would play that, it kind of pulled at my heartstrings. And I was like, that's kind of just a cheap way to use a Beatles songs to, like, rip at my soul. But they did it. And yeah, as far as like seeing the baby's butt fart out powder, like, I don't care if my daughter sees that.
What about when he almost gets his butt plugged in like the first 2 minutes of the film with a pacifier?
That might have been my hardest laugh of the whole movie. Did you guys have like a favorite part, like single part?
I mean, that part really stuck out to me, but even though it's just in like the opening kind of credits, like establishing setting almost, but yeah, I'm not sure.
Pep, was your crowd like laughing out loud? Our crowd is pretty loud.
There were a lot of kids going crazy for some of the visual gags.
Yeah.
not as much from the parents, and I guess kind of like the reason that I brought that up is I feel like that just Disney movies are so much better in that there's like a different layer for parents that I didn't necessarily pick up on, but maybe like a baby getting a pacifier up his butthole is a joke for mom and dad. I don't know.
I feel like
there's a joke about alcohol, like the Long Island iced tea, I think.
Oh yeah. People in Long Island don't know how to make iced tea or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, after the kid drinks Long Island iced tea with the bachelorette party in Las Vegas.
And the baby comes out sexually harassed, covered in lipstick.
But that baby, as presented, is like a 45-year-old in a baby's body, so I think he's of legal age of consent.
He's a boss, man.
The boss baby.
What about the aspect of the pacifier being like an acid trip into Baby Corp?
Yeah, so if you haven't seen The Boss Baby somehow, when you suck on,
you are living in a hole.
Yeah, where have you been, dude? You suck on the pacifier, and then it takes you in kind of like back to the movie references, a Christmas Carol / God, what is that movie with Jimmy Stewart?
Dude, it's actually a Young Guns reference to
no,
the Spirit World. It's the Spirit World, man.
What is that Jimmy Stewart movie? The one where It's a Wonderful Life. But like, yeah, where they're moving throughout Baby Core, but cannot be seen or heard or whatever, and he's giving them the backstory. But what enables that is tripping on a pacifier.
Yeah.
What was Boss Baby's purpose, supposedly, throughout the entire movie?
To take down the puppies.
Yeah, they were taking their pie.
Fighting over love or something, so it's like kind of like Monsters, Inc. I don't know, this Boss Baby movie, it's kind of falling apart at the seams.
Well, actually, I think that might actually be kind of decent writing, because they're drawing a parallel, because the Boss Baby's bosses are saying that there's only so much love to go around, which is the whole like psychological thing that Tim's going through, is that somehow having 2 kids means less love for you. So it's kind of like manifesting that fear that he has in a ridiculous plot by Francis Steve Buscemi.
All right.
Solved.
Well, that's about all we should do yes or no.
Let's do it.
All right, Josh, what do you think?
Been thinking about this since we saw it, what I'm going to give it. Like I said, it does do a decent job at emotionally conveying emotions for a cartoon. Honestly, though, this wasn't like when you see Toy Story for the first time at all. If you have, a 5-year-old to like 7-year-old in that range, take them, they'll love it. I'm not going to say it's justified to spend money on, rather. Just wait till it comes out on video. Check it out if you have the time. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's a pretty decent comedy. It'll make you feel a little bit childish, though. Skip the previews.
Yeah. I'll go next. I agree with everything Josh just said, but I did find myself laughing at some parts, and I wasn't really expecting to. And the animation was a lot better than I was expecting it to be as well. But it's still a no.
Yeah, I didn't actually say, but it's a no dog. That's 2 no dogs.
2 no dogs, Jordan?
Yeah, I kind of agree with everything you guys have said. I went in with a very low bar, so low that I was the first one of us to see this movie, and when I said that I was going, I thought you guys had played a terrible April Fool's joke on me.
Would have been hilarious April Fool's joke.
We should have.
It would have been too perfect, but yeah, I had a low bar, but with that said, I found myself laughing way more than I thought I would, and so I didn't hate the movie. So I would agree with Josh, don't spend the money to see it in a theater, but I would give it a soft yes. Maybe check it out on DVD or Redbox or something.
Flaccid.
A flaccid yes for Jordan and 2 no dogs from the guys who saw it together. I guess this is the first time I've ever seen a movie where I was disappointed about how not bad it was. I was ready for a train wreck of like The Room or like other just epically bad movie proportions. It's a solid kids movie, but I think that the marketing campaign may have like done a little producer's wool over our eyes right there and tried to make it look like the worst movie possible. That said, it is super weird, but it's a no for me. Did not enjoy The Boss Baby, despite the fact that it was better than I thought it would be. So that's 3 no's and 1 yes.
I think that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. 25% on the old spoiler meter. So if you'd like to get in contact with us, we're at spoilers_pod. You can email us at podcastspoilers@gmail.com. Our website is the same name, podcastspoilers.com. We have a phone number, but I'm not even going to fuck with it at this point. Think that's
How many voicemails have we gotten?
1 from Stevie. Oh, and one other note here, actually, before we give That Was Spoilers, Corrections Department, Beauty and the Beast isn't the only Disney animated film to be nominated for Best Picture. Toy Story 3 and Up were also nominated. Thanks for listening. That was Spoilers. Oh.
Yeah, but they're kind of Pixar, but yeah, whatever.